Alright, let's see if this actually started. Did my yesterday. Hey, it actually started. Alright, so we're here.
Yes, we are. Bear to rug me on Thylacraft. Nah,
You were already
I was
here when I got here.
Yeah, it was already. I got here pretty quick too. It was already loaded, so.
I don't know what in the hell is causing this frickin' GL issue, but it is getting annoying. I had this last week. Now I had it again this week. I'm manicuring our mountain. Stop it.
You don't need those there.
Making it look pretty.
Here, does a redstone torch help?
Not really. So we had a special request for me to go over some the chemical changes that were made in this last update. For anybody that's been playing and updating properly, this won't be quite as informative, but hopefully it'll help for anybody playing this pack that didn't update, or anybody that hasn't been updating
I don't
regularly.
think they have this pack. You mean
Well,
you mean GregTech 5?
The person that asked. No, I mean the person that asked for this update that is playing this pack.
I know what person. I think I know what person you're talking about.
Bookdord.
Okay, that one person.
Yes, so for that one person, this is going to be informative. For anybody that hasn't updated regularly and just jumped into this update, should be informative.
I'm an echoing robot
and,
there.
You're an echoing
robot? That's what
robot?
Greg says.
Apparently you're too fucking loud. Let me turn you down. Hold on. I adjusted for crazy last night. I didn't adjust for...
And I'm lagging the fuck out for some reason.
Alright, can you hear us loud enough now?
Hello, how you doing, Greg? Great, good, not good.
We could just mute him and we could all have a great day.
I told you I didn't want to be here, but you brought me here anyways. 32.
Yeah, you need to build a reactor so I can get the same...
No, I'm working on your fucking backpack thingy.
Well, don't you have to have my chest plate for
Probably.
that? And why am I carrying around an assembler? Did you make me an assembler for something last week?
No idea. Probably not.
I am carrying around a EV assembler for some reason.
Oh yeah, that's supposed to go somewhere on the EV line.
For what?
It was going to making Leptrons, the orbs. Just come throw it over here beside the electrolyzer. Boom. Why are you putting it all the way up there?
So it's above my head and out of the way.
Ow. Ow.
So Andy upgraded our clean room, I guess, with the other machines. So now there's 2. And he's going to make this taller by 1 block. And I'm going to
make 3 other machines.
Yeah, we're going to do the same thing here that we did on Bear's Den the other day and get everything automated in there at some point.
Yeah. And this redstone annoys me.
Well, that'll be gone when we upgrade it, automate it, whatever.
But I did kind of straighten it out too, so.
Still robot. How does he sound like a robot? He doesn't sound like a robot to me.
Ooh. Robot. Am I getting bad ping today?
No, because it doesn't sound bad to me. Go listen to the stream and hear what you sound like.
Hello. Oh wait, I need to actually load it up again because...
No, it shouldn't be that because it's on my mic side, not on my other side.
What am I doing?
And why am I carrying around these two lenses? Don't you need
Probably.
these?
Which ones? Yep.
Green sapphire and blue
Yep.
sapphire.
I don't need them specifically right now.
Go listen to the stream. But I shouldn't be carrying them
Yeah.
around.
One sec.
Shouldn't be that because
You are
it's on my
loud.
mic side, not on my other side. And why am I carrying around these two lenses? Don't you need these?
Probably. Which ones?
Green
Yep.
sapphire and blue sapphire.
Yep. I don't need them specifically right now. Yep. I sound terrible. I sound like I'm a robot and I'm all scratchy in the background and I'm fucked up.
What the hell? I don't know why.
Dude, are you getting bad lag or is it just me? I'm at 7 frames.
Yeah, I'm getting some
Heavy lag.
pretty shit lag.
Told you we shouldn't do this today.
I don't know what.
You're like, no, let's go ahead and do it.
Yeah. Shut up. Quit your bitching. I really don't know what the problem would be, why it's having issues with you, but you go look and
Turn off.
see.
Oh no, don't turn off the fucking thing. Okay.
That's right.
Oh, that could be why. I have the stream loaded. But it was bad anyways when before I had the stream loaded.
Yeah, but you sound fine to me. You're coming through Discord
It's
fine.
no, it's OBS. I'm talking about me and my FPS. But with you, Discord is fine, but then it's getting scratchy using OBS. Something with OBS is screwing it up.
Something.
Didn't you move it to the SSD?
Not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're on the SSD.
So, could that be something with it?
Shouldn't be. And I just used these same exact settings last night with Crazy.
Maybe I'm completely different from her. For some reason. Okay, I gotta kill... Okay, maybe that'll help. And the site, cobblestone.
I have no idea.
I don't either. Well, I'm calling it quits then. I can't be here.
Oh, hush.
Greg doesn't want me anymore.
Alright, I'm muting my mic so I can hear you talk for a minute.
So, how you doing, Bear? You doing good? That's good. I'm probably sounding terrible.
I'm muting. I can hear you talk for a minute.
What? Oh.
I'm muting. I can hear you talk for a minute.
Oh. I'm supposed to be talking. Dang it, I get tongue-tied whenever I'm alone. The hell? It's all echoey when you came back. It is working. Okay.
Yeah, hold on a minute.
Dang it! I threw that in there. You idiot. I thought I double clicked you. There. Get rid of that fucking thing.
For some reason, you're coming through my mic and the
At
desktop.
the same time. So
That's
then
what it
it's
sounds
making
like.
it sound like I'm in an echo chamber.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. So something in the software is tying them together.
I'm not sure why.
I don't need any of those anymore, do I? The integrated logic circuits. I just made a stack of. I'm gonna be using CPUs now. Okay. Bear roboted out.
Say something.
Oh. Say something. I'm breaking up with you. Okay. I need to make a circuit thing. Chemical reactor. That's what I need to make the plastic circuit boards. So, how much power do I need to make those? 10. I need 10 power. Okay. So I need an LV chemical reactor.
Hello, beer.
Hi, Spiger. We're recording, by the way.
No, he's not.
We're supposed to be.
Well,
I thought he came back. Or went back.
yeah, he is back. He's now back. But Bear, you're muted, I think.
He's
You know,
He's not talking because he's listening to me trying to fix me because I sound like a robot in the recording. In the streaming. For some reason it's jamming me and the desktop audio together and making me echo.
Alright, I'm gonna start this back up, see if it's any better. I turned the Discord side of you way the fuck down.
So now you can't hear me.
Alright. I turned him way the fuck down. I don't know how in the hell it's got him picking up. The reason why he sounds so weird is it's picking him up through my mic and through my speakers. And it doesn't show that it's picking him up. Somehow OBS is like mixing them together. I don't understand it because, like I said, I didn't have this one crazy last night. We recorded an episode that's going to come out tonight showing off our new reactor
Oh.
setup.
That's where you did the reactor at.
It all sounded fine.
I thought you did that here. I was like, we don't have a reactor to do that in. Guess somebody blew it up.
No, somebody blew it up.
Wasn't my fault.
Let's see if it sounds any better. I'm not going to mine anymore.
Every time you go mining,
it
does the sound thingy and you die.
That's what I was just thinking. I was going to go finish it real
That's the
quick.
only time I've seen you. That's the second time it's happened.
Yeah. Close this off so we ain't got to worry about
I was
anything.
supposed to give a door. Make a door.
Yeah, you never make.
No, you told me to mess with something, so I messed with something.
Let's see. Not that we need to hear Andy considering the nonsense he says. all the time, but he is barely audible.
Hey, yes. You can totally hear me. I just need a yell. Can you hear me now? Good.
I can try to turn him up a little bit, but I don't want him to sound all psycho
I don't want
robot
to
either.
yell either.
Why didn't you try on Discord?
That's what I'm turning him. That's where I'm turning him down at.
Hmm.
I need all the wires.
I've got him down to 15 frickin' percent. He's got such a big damn mouth.
You have a bigger mouth than me.
No, I just got good lungs behind it.
And I sound like shit when I talk.
All right.
So what are you going to do?
I'm going to do a whole lot of explaining chemical.
Have fun,
bullshit.
Bear.
So no Factorio.
Oh, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing with Factorio yet. That's up to XAR, not me. I don't
Oh.
control the world. He does.
Well, mind if I join 16 because I didn't play it yet, but I know what's coming. Like, I saw a
What?
bit of things.
What's happening
Like-
with 16?
Oh, we ain't even got 15 done yet.
Yeah, but the only things that are different between 15 and 16 is just added content. Like, the end is still
I'm
the
gonna
same.
try buying it.
Well, ask XAR. It's
I'm gonna
his
try
world.
buying it when it comes out.
I would suggest that you do a new world, mainly for the
Well, we're
for
gonna-
the reason.
Finish this one first.
Dang it.
Well, maybe you have cliffs then in that world, because that's actually a new thing.
A cliff?
Ah, fuck.
Hey. Oh.
It's
As
well
soon
done.
as you
It's
showed
well
up,
done.
I
It's
turned
not
around.
I was trying to punch you in the back of the head, but you're too far away.
Okay, I'm going to
Boom.
leave. Bye bye.
Oh, damn. Oh, if you wouldn't have moved, I'd have had you. Alright, so now that he's done talking about Factorio, you're done trying to get slapped in the back of the head. We're going to look at chemical
Yay.
changes. And Andy's going to try not to be as nonsensical as he
I
was
can
last
mute.
time. And we're doing the. No, you don't need to mute.
Well,
Just leave the random questions out
where
this
the
time,
fuck
would
did
you?
I get this extra battery?
Oh, and here, you're supposed to be upgrading this.
Throw it in a box somewhere because. Why is
Throw
it on the
the
fucking
ground,
ground?
right there in front of you.
Well,
Fix
we're
it.
gonna put it here. And
Tired
here.
of carrying both of them together. I want them all in one. I want this bad boy. You need to upgrade that to an advanced lap pack to do it.
Oh, okay. Lap back?
Yeah, you have to upgrade the energy pack
Oh,
to the
an
lap
ultimate
pack.
lap back. Dude, that's not fucking happening today. I need 6
What?
Laptrons. I
For
need
what?
6 Laptrons to add to the energy pack, plus an item super.
You need
I
one.
need 6. Okay,
You
I
only
need
need the
1.
advanced lap
I
pack,
need
not the
1
ultimate.
plus an advanced circuit. Never mind. Oh, not the ultimate. Okay. We're good. No.
You got this now? Alright.
The hell is a
So-
superconductor thingy though? What the fuck? Okay,
Andy.
go ahead.
Andy. Shut the fuck up. Alright, so let's start with oil. The first pain in the ass.
They can't
thing
hear
of
me
shit.
anyways.
And they can hear you. Shut the fuck. And you're gonna annoy me. Whether they can hear you or not, you're gonna throw me off. Shut the fuck up. Unless you have an actual question.
Hey Bear.
I'm gonna slap the fucking shit out of you. Okay, so oil is pretty much the same as it was for your first step. You can put it in a distillery, make your sulfuric of each of the 4 bases, and then you have to run those through to desulfonize them. This did change because instead of getting the sulfuric acid out, you now get hydrogen sulfide out, which you then have to process to turn into sulfuric acid. By putting oxygen with it, we'll make sulfur dioxide, and then sulfur dioxide you have to mix with, or you can mix it with hydrogen sulfide to just make water and sulfur, but where is the actual? There it is. Sulfur dioxide plus oxygen will make sulfur trioxide, and then the sulfur trioxide you mix with water, and that makes your sulfuric acid. So they added a few steps there for what you get out of the stuff, for at least the byproduct part. Now, the actual naphtha, you can't turn straight into plastic anymore. There is a deprecated recipe, which is the old recipe. Um, there it is. So this was your old recipe for making plastic. Naphtha and a compressed air cell gave you molten polyethylene. I do believe it gave you more than 72, but because it deprecated the recipe, they knocked it down a bit. I think it actually gave you a full thing, but I can't remember. But now you have no way of doing that anymore. Now you have your cracking of the naphtha in the chemical reactor, and there's multiple different ones that you can do. I don't even know what this crap is. I haven't even seen that one yet. Saltpeter and naphtha makes tiny pile of potassium dust and polycaprolactam.
That sounds like
What
a
the
mouthful.
hell is that shit? I don't know what it is. I'm guessing it's some kind of plastic, or, but I have no idea. I don't think it has a use at the moment, because I haven't used it yet or made it. But basically, you have all these different cracking things. You can either crack it with hydrogen or crack it with steam. Each one has 3 different levels. So you have your lightly, moderately, and severely cracked. You can do all of them in the chemical reactor, which we have stated many times. I have issues with this. In the new update that is a work in progress update that nobody should probably be using because pipes are broken and shit in it, they have actually made the cracking the same cost in the chemical reactor as in the cracking unit, so it's a little bit more balanced. But it still isn't as good as what I have suggested and NetMC has suggested. So basically, when it comes to your sulfin, your cracking, what you crack it with and how much you crack it depends on what you're wanting out of it. If you do hydrogen cracking, let's start with the light hydrogen cracking. When you put it into a distillation tower, you will get butane, propane, ethane, and methane gas. And it's going to be 800, 300, 250, 250. Now, that gives you, because this is the lighter things, or the heavier things on the bottom, I do believe are going to give you more. If we go to moderately, this should be where, yeah, the butane is less, the propane is way more, the ethane is a little bit more, and the methane is pretty similar. And then the severely should be where the methane gas gets the most. The butane and propane give very little. So that is basically the way all of them work with the lightly and the moderately and the severely is it's kind of exactly opposite. The lightly gives the heavier gases because the heavier gases are on the bottom, lighter gases are on the top. The lighter you crack it, the more of the heavier you get. The moderate is the middle, and then the severely gives you the top, the light gases. Um, and you also get different things if you use hydrogen versus steam. So now if we go and look at the steam cell and steam cracking, you actually get 11 fluids and carbon dust. They changed it to where you get these tiny piles of carbon everywhere now. So when you put steam cracked naphtha in a distillation tower, you will get heavy fuel, light fuel, toluene, benzene, butane, butadiene, propane, propene, ethane, ethylene, and methane gas. Now, the main thing that you're probably going to need out of here is the ethylene. This is what you need to make plastic now, which you can now do an oxygen cell instead of just an air cell. I still don't know why this is this way. I don't know anything about actual acetic acid, but it's the same exact recipe as plastic. Where is the actual plastic? Styrene chloride. There it is. So oxygen, ethylene with a different circuit. This is circuit 1. Gives you molten polyethylene, and that is your plastic. So you can also, do believe, still use an air cell, but I think you get less this way. You get 144 with an air cell, and you get 216 with oxygen. So it's much better to use oxygen. And then if we go back to the acetic acid, which is the same exact recipe but a circuit of 9, you get acetic acid. No idea how that's supposed to work. So that's the important one that you're going to get out of this. And if you're wanting that as your main output, you want to do the severely cracked. Show you that here. Find it. There it is. Severely cracked naphtha. You get 500 out of it. What we're doing on Bear's Den is we're actually cracking our naphtha and our heavy fuel. Heavy fuel can only be burnt in a boiler, a large boiler, or used to make super fuel binder. So we are cracking our heavy fuel down, and then naphtha gives you more ethylene than the heavy fuel does. See, the heavy fuel, you can crack it as well with, there's the hydro cracked. I never do the hydro cracked. I always do the steam cracked, by the way. So when you severely hydro, I did what I wanted. I want severely steam cracked. There we go. That's what we want. So when you run this one, you'll get light fuel, naphtha, toluene, benzene, butane, butadiene, propane, propene, ethane, ethylene, and methane gas. Very similar to what you get out of the naphtha, with a few changes on the bottom side here. So that's why we're cracking both of them, is so we have plenty of that. Now, some of these other gases you're going to need, these other fuels, whatever you want to call them, fluids, you're going to need for specific things, like the toluene you need for solidifying it into gel toluene to make your TNT or your industrial TNT. Benzene you need to make dichlorobenzene. So chlorine and benzene will make that, and then that will go to make your molten poly. I screwed this one up with Crazy the other day. She says that I shouldn't try to pronounce the EH in the middle, that's silent. It's polyaniline. I think it's polyphenylene sulfide and salt. And then this is another plastic that you will need for this right here, polyphenylene sulfide foil, which is used in an assembler with high tier cables or wires to make their cable version. You can't make anything above HV without this stuff or a foil of the material that you're using. It's basically like shielding, but I don't know where he got the idea that you use the same material that the wire is made out of as the shielding, because I always thought that shielding was typically aluminum, because aluminum does not conduct electricity. It blocks out interference. That's why it's in coax cable as a shielding. It does conduct electricity, but it blocks signals. I don't know. Not a high tech electrician type person, but you'll see, like for this niobium titanium cable, there's two different ways of making it. You can do it with the poly stuff, or you can do it with the niobium titanium foil. It's more expensive, basically, to do it that way. Cage of Faraday principle. You want to explain what the hell that means? That means shit to me. And while he explains that, we'll back up here. What I have been planning to do, we haven't completely got it all set up on Bear's Den yet, but what I'm planning on doing is any of these fuels that have a use will be stored and used or turned directly into whatever they need to be used for. And everything else is just going to go to its own diesel generator, just a single block diesel generator, LV, and burn off for power. And I think we figured out that there's about 6 of them that we won't need. Now you can crack almost everything down to a lighter gas. So let's see, we looked at benzene, butane. I think that's one of them that we don't actually need for anything. Yeah, that's one that we don't actually need. So you can either crack it down to get more ethylene, which from my experience you will not need to do unless you're using ass tons of plastic. But you can break it down to ethane or methane with steam cracked with hydrogen cracked. Oh, I was on the wrong one again. That was hydrogen cracked. Steam cracked, you can go down to ethylene, propene. Let's just go over to this one. Propene, ethylene, and methane. So, and then again, more carbon. So if you really need plastic, you can use this one, crack it down again, and get your ethylene from it. This is one that I will just burn off, get you rid of it. And on this server, we have so much oil in the world, I don't see where anybody could ever run out of plastic. Butadiene, that one I do believe does have use. Yeah, it is needed for styrene butadiene rubber dust. So you mix styrene and butadiene and air together, and you get this stuff. And this is used to make molten styrene butadiene rubber with some sulfur dust.
There, they said something.
Chemical reactor. Just like you won't get hurt by lightning when you are in your car and the car gets struck. I always thought that was because the rubber was a good insulator and kept you from being grounded
that's
to the
why I
earth.
thought too. I forgot.
At least that's what I was always told. Alright, so molten styrene butadiene rubber is used in an assembly for cables. I do believe it is actually needed for some of the really high up cables like LUV, ZPMs. Like here's the Nakoda alloy cable that can use it. This can take the place of regular rubber in just about any recipe, but I don't believe you can use regular rubber. You can use silicon rubber. We got to talk about it in a minute, but I don't believe you can use regular rubber to make this. I think it has to be the silicon rubber or the styrene stuff. Now the silicon rubber I already have set up on Bear's Den because we needed it for an EV. So I probably won't set up this styrene stuff. I will go with the silicon rubber most of the way that I can. So that's the butadiene in use for the butadiene. Propane, no use as far as I know. Other than, yeah, it's only got 6 recipes in the chemical reactor. So you can either crack it down or you can centrifuge it for LPG. I don't think this is really worth it because you're going to lose a little bit of it. It only costs you 100 EU. Let's see. Propane cell is going to give you 232,000 EU a tick from one cell of it. 232. LPG, on the other hand, is going to give you oh, gotta have a cell. I hate this. Is going to give you 256. So you get a little bit more EU out of it. Get about 23,000 more. Somebody would have to do the math. You're going to lose 30 liters of it by processing it down. So I don't know exactly which one is going to be better. You're also going to use 100 EU for every uh, almost 300. So it's going to cost you about 300 EU for a cell, which that's very mm, less necessary to figure. But I'm just going to burn that straight. I'm not going to turn it into LPG. LPG literally is useless now, other than using it in the fuel binder recipe, which you can use heavy fuel as a fuel binder as well. I think you can even use creosote. Heavy fuel, that cetan shit that I don't want to make. Heavy fuel, yeah, heavy fuel LPG
Oh,
or the cetan boosted shit. So that's like the only real use for LPG anymore, because this recipe got deprecated for the epichlorohydrin. There's a new way of making that. We got to look at that yet today, and that is the only use it had. So we used to have so much need for LPG. Now we have very little. Faraday cages, aka some metal cage around you, protecting you from lightning and electric waves. Cars are Faraday cages too, at least in regards to natural lightning strikes. But if the cable recipe is going off the Faraday cage thing, then wouldn't it be any kind of metal? It wouldn't have to be the same kind of metal as the cable. Because I never understood why you would need, why they would choose the same type of metal the cable is made out of. Chainmail armor is a Faraday cage too.
hmm.
As long as you discharge it before you end up getting zapped. I don't want to try. I don't want to test that. I don't want to go play in a lightning storm with chainmail armor. Most metals would work, yes. Okay.
Oh,
Because I always thought it was strange that for a platinum cable, you had to have platinum foil to shield it. I always thought it would make a lot more sense to just use like aluminum, something we all have ass tons of in Greg Tech, for the shielding, or copper or something, rather than the super expensive shit that you're using to make the damn cable out of. Okay, so back to this. So that was a propane or propane. Here's the propene, which I do believe is also propene can be turned into methane and isoprene. Isoprene. Is that the stuff they make swimming diving suits out of? Sounds very similar. Apparently, this is a way of making raw rubber. Who in the hell would ever do this?
what's wrong with raw rubber?
There's freaking trees and crops for that. Why would you ever use oil to make rubber? So propene apparently is again almost useless. It looks like you can mix all kinds of stuff together to make the isoprene. What is this shit? Oh, you got this crap. Okay, so you can use it for this stuff. This allyl chloride, which is used to make. It's a way of making epichlorohydrin. This is not the way I've been doing it, because I didn't have the allyl chloride. Don't believe that's how we were doing it. Let me look here. Yeah, we were doing this one, glycerol cell and hydrochloric acid, because you will now have tons of hydrochloric acid, um, which will give you a water cell and epichlorohydrin. But you can also do the allyl chloride, sodium hydroxide. That'll give you salt water and epichlorohydrin. So you actually might want to save that one, because making glycerol is quite a pain in the ass, because you have to have seed oil or fish oil. So you're going to have a regular farm that makes something for seeds, or you have to have a fish farm. And then you have to have these tiny piles of sodium hydroxide and ethanol or methanol.
Yeah.
I do too. Yeah, methanol, which will give you your biodiesel cell and your glycerol.
Good.
And then the biodiesel cell you can use with the tetramethane to make that cetam boosted diesel, which is basically what nitro diesel used to be. This took its place. Pisses me off, because making this stuff is a pain in the ass. Or you can just burn the biodiesel straight for 128 EU a tick. This tetra stuff here is ethanol and nitric acid, so you have to have a nitric acid setup, which changed as well. And this ethanol stuff to make this. The ethanol stuff is fluid heated acetone or distilled acetone, which apparently is 1-for-1. So you need to get your acetone. And acetone will come from calcium acetate solution in a fluid heater, or it can be distilled from wood vinegar. I think there's a few other ones. You can make it with cumin and oxygen. Cumin's another one of those weird things. Phosphoric acid, propene, benzene will make this cumin crap. Really?
Bye, Bear.
Fuck off, Axel. Asshole. I hate that crap. Kick me out the damn server because I'm standing in one place. This is Greg Tech, damn it. I got shit to do.
No, you're staying in one.
And
He
I
thinks
might
you're
have to- Yeah, I gotta.
He thinks you're
figure shit out in the
AFKing is
damn-
what it is.
He fucking AFKs all the
Yeah,
damn
same with
time on
XAR.
servers.
But XAR has a
Exactly.
certain
They
way
got
of doing it.
They got their cheaty ways of doing it, but they want to kick my ass off when I'm trying to
Uh-huh.
look through any eye. Bastards. Shit annoys me. The hell does they matter if I'm AFK? And leave me alone. I gotta get back where I was. Damn it. Piss me off, fucking jerks. You get on my nerves.
Nerves.
I hope none of you know that song. I'm so not gonna
It's the
sing it
song
for
that never ends.
you. Well, it's a song that if you get it in your head,
It goes
it'll never
on
go
and
away.
on, my friends.
I used to play this. My dad used to play this song when I was
Are you gonna play it now?
My mom hated it.
Dude, we gotta have red alloy for shit. I hate red alloy.
I'll give you a link to it when we get out of here. I will not give a link to this song in the stream. It is bad.
Just tell me what it is.
Uh, I don't. It's. No, I'm not even doing that. Shut up. When we get
You
done,
almost
we'll
told me.
discuss it. I almost did. Yes. All right. So let's go on to the ethane stuff. This can be turned into ethylene. That's its only real use other than burning the shit off. So you can turn it into methane and hydrogen if you do the hydrocracked. And you can do just, oh really? I thought you could turn that into ethylene. Apparently not. That gives you methane gas only. So again, this is one I just burn off straight. Because like I said, ethylene, you get plenty. You really don't need it. And then methane, it has some other uses now, other than being burnt off. You can turn it into biogas, but you also need it for, you can make hydrochloric acid with it, and this chloromethane. The chloromethane is used to make the dimethylchlorosilane with silicon and and the chloromethane make this stuff. And then this mixed with water will make your polydimethylsilaxane pulp, and this is how you make your molten silicon rubber. So this is that other rubber that you can use to coat your cables in. And you can, I don't understand this, you can either put too small of pulp with 72 of the rubber, or you can just do it straight with a circuit and the extra rubber. I don't know why you would ever want to try to do smalls or tiny uh, pulp when you can just put a circuit in the damn thing and use it all as molten. I don't even know what the purpose is of having the pulp in there. But I do believe you can do all your cables in this stuff. It's kind of a pain to set up to do it, but once you get it, it's pretty easy to keep it going. Like I said, you're going to have a lot of this hydrochloric acid now. This is one of the main ways that we're getting all our hydrochloric acid. Which reminds me, there's another thing that they changed in this one, and that is your two main acids at least, which is hydrochloric and sulfuric, have a diluted version of them. So you have your regular sulfuric acid and you have diluted sulfuric acid. So most of the things that you will process with sulfuric acid, not the kind of processing you do in 6, will give you diluted back. Let me see. Am I correct? There we go. So sulfuric acid is used to make your boards. That's not something that's all that new. There is a plastic one now. You can use polytetrafluoroethylene to get 4 of them, or you can just do regular plastic to get 1. So if you want to set up Teflon, you can do it. Teflon has barely any use anymore. It's not used for top tier circuits. It's only really used for the large chemical reactor and some pipes that they added. And you can also do this as well. That's the one way you don't actually. Where is the diluted?
It only takes 2. Okay.
That's making sulfuric or hydrochloric acid. Where the hell is it you're getting the? Okay, that's plus stuff, and then we're gonna run in all these chemical dyes. I know the sulfuric acid gives you the, for one of these at least.
Oh, cool.
There it is. So acidic acid and sulfuric acid will give you ethanol and diluted. Let's just do it this way. So you can also use it with wood pulp to make charcoal and diluted. It's another way of doing it. You can do sugar and sulfuric acid with charcoal and diluted. And then the glycerol actually gives you the diluted nitric mixture. Yeah, that's that same recipe. Acidic acid, sulfuric acid. That's one we showed a minute ago. Sulfuric acid and ethanol will give you ethylene and diluted. So that's another way you can get ethylene for plastic, I guess. If you want to use your ethanol for it. Okay, so nitration mixture and gelled toluene for IT&T will now give you diluted sulfuric acid. This stuff you can distill into sulfuric acid at a loss of 3 to 2. 75% or 75 units turns into 50. You can put it in a distillation tower if you want to make a distillation tower just for this. So you put 3,000 in, you get 2,000 sulfuric acid and the water back out if it's important to save the water. And then the hydrochloric acid also has a diluted, which works the same way basically. There's the diluted. So you'll get the diluted when you do chlorine and water. Will give you a diluted hydrochloric acid. When you do the dimethylchlorine and water, you get diluted. All the same thing. So I guess there's less ways of getting it than I thought there was. But then this you can just distill back to hydrochloric acid. This is half when you do it that way. Alright, so let's see. Showed epichlorohydrin. We showed the new way of making sulfuric acid. We showed what you get out of the oil desulfonization. Trying to think if there was any other major things. Oh yeah, nitric acid. That changed, which we need to change that here.
Yep.
So nitric acid is made differently. You put nitrogen dioxide and water together, which will give you nitric oxide and nitric acid. They have a lot of different recipes to do the same thing. It all kind of depends on what fluid you want as the output and if you want to save the water. Apparently, if a water is an output, a circuit can void it. Don't quite understand that. With a lot of these recipes, it's really important to set it up a specific way just so you don't have two um, cell outputs that are different, because that kind of gives you a little bit of a pain in the butt. Here, if you do two nitrogen dioxide cells or three nitrogen dioxide cells and water and a circuit, you will get one nitric oxide cell, two empty cells, and two nitric acid. Where if you do two nitrogen dioxide and an oxygen cell, you're going to get three empty cells and nitric acid. So you can do the same thing, um, just adding an oxygen cell input will keep you from having an extra nitrogen oxide coming back out and the two empty cells, and just give you the nitric acid. But it'll cost you one less nitrogen dioxide. The nitric oxide is actually what you need to make the nitrogen dioxide. So that's the next step. Well, let's go this way. Nitrogen dioxide. To make that now is oxygen nitric oxide, which will give you your nitrogen dioxide. And like I said, you've got every different way you can flip this recipe to do it. So this is the deprecated recipe. This is the way we used to do it, which is nitrogen and oxygen, which you can't do anymore. Well, you can, but after the next update, you can't. All right, so now you need this nitric oxide. Nitric oxide will come from ammonia now and oxygen. This is where making nitric acid really kind of sucks, is the fact that you need ammonia to do it. And again, you can flip it all kinds of different ways to get varying outputs, but you still have to do it that way. You can do, yeah, this is that one recipe we were just looking at a minute. So ammonia, you're going to get this either from fermented biomass in a distillery, 1,000 units to 100 units. So 10-to-1 ratio really sucks. You can make it with hydrogen, magnetite. The magnetite doesn't get consumed, it's just a catalyst, and nitrogen. So if you want to use nitrogen gas to make your nitric oxide, you can do it, but you're going to have lots of hydrogen. So you can do it this way, but you're going to be putting in 3,000 hydrogen, 1,000 nitrogen, and only getting 1,000 ammonia. Now, the way we get the ammonia is actually through distillation of the fermented biomass, which gives us acetic acid, water, ethanol, methanol, ammonia, and methane gas and CO2 gas. So we get two different fuels and a gas that we can burn. And then we get the ammonia that we need to make our nitric oxide. We also get water, acetic acid, CO2 gas. The CO2 gas we just let go back into the atmosphere. We got to raise the greenhouse gases and kill Minecraft, So we just let that shit go away. You can actually, if you need oxygen or carbon, you can actually, you believe, somehow, really? I thought there was a way you could do that. Let's check this out. See that? Yeah, there it is. So if you put it in a cell, you can actually get the carbon and the oxygen back out of it. You can also apparently use CO2 gas or quicklime to give you calcite, or magnesia and CO2 gas will give you magnesite. The magnesia and the quicklime are things that you get out of um, the ash centrifuging now. Rather than just getting carbon out of ash, you now get quicklime, potash, magnesia, phosphorus pentoxide, soda ash, and banded iron at different percentage chances for each one. So that's how you actually get that stuff. Each one of them, which will need to be processed into something that is actually useful. The fermented biomass is made by putting regular biomass in a fermenter, which gives you your fermented biomass. You can now make biomass directly in a GregTech machine rather than having to use forestry by either. Now, this is kind of weird. Somebody understands this, please explain. I don't understand it. You can either put biochaff in a brewing machine with water and get 750 biomass, or you can put it into. Wait a minute, where'd the other one go? There's a mixer recipe. Oh, it's the other biomass. Hold on. You can also put it into a mixer, same recipe, and get 1,000 of the other biomass. Now, both biomasses give you the same output of fermented. It's 100 to 100, either way you look at it. So I don't know why you would want to go with one biomass over the other biomass. One is forestry, one is IC2. But once it gets into GregTech, to me, it should be the same shit if it's going to be processed the same way. Don't quite understand it, why you have two different ways of making it, and them having two different amounts that you get out of them. And for anybody that doesn't know, biochaff will come from throwing all kinds of crap into a pulverizer. Main thing that you'll use is plant balls. And you can get plant balls from either wheat that way or compressing, just about any food. You can also get it from fluid extracting wood pulp, which is one way that we do it, but you only get 1% that way. It's IC2 biomass or forestry biomass, and forestry has a dedicated generator for bio stuff. Yes, but why give different amounts? That's the question. I know there's two of them. This is one way you can get them. This is a 10% chance way of getting it. I actually get most of my plant balls this way right here by putting rubber wood into a centrifuge. Gives you methane, plant balls, wood pulp, sticky resin, and carbon. I get a lot this way. The other way is from putting saplings into a compressor. And compressing them, it's 4 to 1 for saplings that way. All right, so that's that for the nitric acid. Is there anything that I have missed for the new fluids that is needed?
That's retarded.
Oh, the Pyrolus oven.
That I need to have all the same circuit types, the same components in there. It can't be different. Like basic components and then advanced components can't be in the same machine. It has to be all basic or all advanced.
Yes.
It's stupid.
That's the way that works. Okay, so the way the Pyrolus oven works changed. When making charcoal in the Pyroluce oven, you can put steam in. This is a GT++ thing, so we're not going to look at this one right now. We're going to stick with the regular GT5 stuff. So you can put it in and get wood gas with a circuit of 5. You can put it in with a circuit of 1 and get creosote, which is what you used to always get. You can do a circuit of 9 and get wood tar, or you can do a circuit of 7 and get wood vinegar. And you're probably asking yourself, what the fuck are each one of these? I'll explain that in a second. Or you can, if I can find the fucking thing, there's one you put nitrogen in here. Oh, you can also make oil at some point somehow. Can't remember where the hell that recipe is. Where is the charcoal byproduct? You know what? It's just going to be easier to do it this way. Okay. The other way is nitrogen with wood gives you charcoal and charcoal byproducts. Now, the charcoal byproduct way, to me, is the best option. Because if you put the charcoal byproduct into a distillation tower, you will get a small pile of charcoal dust out of it, along with your wood tar, your wood vinegar, and your wood gas. So the 3 that you could get the other way. No, this is the last update we're going over now. And these also have a use. Wood gas is very useful for making plastic. You can get ethylene out of it. It's 1,000 to 20, so you lose a lot by doing it. This is how we're actually doing it on Fear the Night, because oil there is a lot more of a pain in the butt than it is here. You also get methane gas, carbon monoxide, hydrogen, and CO2 gas out of this. So the main thing you're actually losing when you don't run it through the distillation tower is CO2 gas, which who gives a shit about. A little bit of hydrogen, which is always good to keep hydrogen unless you have a way of getting hydrogen in water easily. Carbon monoxide, which doesn't have a whole lot of use to it. You can make acetic acid with it, and that's about it. You can make methanol with hydrogen and carbon monoxide, but I checked it out, and if I'm doing the math correctly, it's a waste of power.
You're doing it wrong.
Well, you can check it out and see if I'm doing it wrong.
I'm joking.
But from what I can tell, after you make your hydrogen and then mix these together, it's a waste of power. Acidic acid, isn't that a bit redundant? Yeah, but acidic acid, I do believe, is an actual thing. I don't know who the hell named it, but I do believe it is something that actually exists.
Acidic acid.
You lose a little bit of methane gas, so it's not a big deal to do the straight. The methane gas is the main thing that you're going to be losing by not setting up a distillation tower. We did set up a distillation tower on Bear's Den to do this. Wood tar is used to give you benzene, toluene, creosote oil. So this is where you're going to get your creosote, and phenol. Phenol is another one that can be used to make. Oh yeah, I forgot to look this one to show you guys this one. So phenol and hydrochloric acid and acetone will give you molten bisphenol A, and molten bisphenol A is used with sodium hydroxide, epichlorohydrin to make salt water and molten epoxy resin. This is how you make your epoxy boards now, is you have to do this crap, which is a real pain in the ass to make a frickin' circuit. Now you can also do this with the human stuff. No, that's not the one you can do with. One is it you can do with the? Is it phenol? Yeah, it's phenol you can make with cumin. So that cumin stuff we seen earlier, and oxygen, you can make phenol that way, or you can just get it straight out of your distillation tower from your wood tar. So you got benzene, toluene, creosote, and phenol that you get out of there. Toluene only used to make TNT or ITNT. Benzene, not a whole lot of uses other than the styrene stuff. Creosote, you can either use it to make the super fuel binder, railroad wooden ties, lubricant, which is the main thing we use it for, and you can use it for torches, obviously, or you can just burn this shit, which is the other use we have.
Coils are fucking annoying.
And then you have
Coils are annoying.
Yes. Then you have your wood vinegar, which your wood vinegar can be put in a distillation tower. So if you do this with distillation towers, you're going to end up with 4 of them. One for the charcoal byproduct itself, then 3 for the byproducts that come out of the charcoal byproduct, which is the way we do it on Bear's Den. We have it all automated. It goes pyroloose to the things, burns everything through, and we get the stuff out the other side. If you want to see that, we did a stream where we set it all up. You can go check that out. So you get acetic acid, water, ethanol, methanol, acetone, and methyl acetate out of your wood vinegar. Now, this is how we actually get our water, because we have infinite water on Bear's Den, but I don't feel that it is proper to use infinite water to get hydrogen and oxygen, because then that's infinite hydrogen and oxygen. I will only use water that I make. So by doing this, we have more than enough water. I think we're still voiding excess water that we haven't turned into hydrogen and oxygen, because we have so much hydrogen and oxygen we don't need it. But
Bye, Bear.
really, fucking Axel kicked my ass off again. Kiss my ass. Telling you this shit pisses me off. Alright, so back to where I was. Acetone, we already looked at what you need that for. You can make glue. Who the fuck would ever make glue out of it? I don't know. But you can make that ethanol stuff with it. That's its primary use. Along with that molten bisphenol stuff. Let's see, what was the other? Methyl acetate. That's the other half of what you use to make glue, and that is its only freaking use. So that stuff we just flat out void. We have no use for that shit whatsoever because we are not going to make glue. We're actually voiding glue because we have no use for it. How the hell do we want to make more? I know everybody's probably going to fall down, pass out hearing me actually say we're voiding shit, but it's a fucking useless fluid. Just get rid of it. I don't need to know it even exists. And we don't technically void it. We just leave it in the output hatch. There's a sign over the back of the output hatch. So there, I know, don't put a pipe to it. We don't care what's coming out of it. And we let the machine void it. I'm not
It's hard to think
physically
when you're
doing
talking,
it.
Bear, isn't it? I don't know. It's hard
Yes.
for me to think.
All right. So then you get your methanol and your ethanol. So you can just burn those. So that's it for that. Now, methanol, like I said, does have some other uses. You can make pyromethane with it. You can make that methyl acetate. If you really gave a shit, why you would ever do that, beyond me. And you can make the acetic acid. You can make the glycerol, which we talked about earlier. So I do believe that is it. If there's any chemistry things I missed, let me know. But that's some major chemistry changes that were made in the last major update. And like I said, there are some tiny ones that are coming in the next one. Some of the lower hydrocarbons you will not be able to crack anymore. You can just centrifuge them because you don't. They only really had one output, no matter what you did. So it kind of made it useless to actually have a cracking for it. And like I said, the cracking will change just a bit, but not extremely, like it did in this update. So we will actually have to change this setup over because in this setup we were running our sulfuric acid right in here to an electrolyzer and electrolyzing it, and we're not going to be able to do that anymore because we're now going to get hydrogen sulfide out. So we're going to have to redo the way that this is done. So Andy's got to do that
What am I doing?
before we have to do
Hydrogen
more
chloride something.
oil changes. Basically, all we have to do is instead of canning the sulfuric acid like we were, the hydrogen sulfide that comes out will just get sent to a tank and we'll turn it into sulfuric acid as we need it. If we don't need it, we ain't going to turn it. We'll just store it in a freaking tank until we. And then if by some chance we need what you get out of the sulfuric acid when you electrolyze it, because you still can do it. I just don't quite understand the reasoning behind this. You can't do it as a fluid.
Oh wait.
No. If you use the actual sulfuric acid fluid, you will see there is no electrolyzer recipe. But if you do it in a cell, there is. And I don't really understand that. So if we need hydrogen, sulfur, or oxygen, we can run our sulfuric acid through that. None of those three are really hard to get, so I don't see where we would need to do it. We actually are electrolyzing it on Bear's Den, but that is from our nitric acid setup that gives us sulfuric acid directly. At the last step, you get hydrogen, you get sulfuric oxygen. I don't even remember where it comes out in this one. right here. So right here is where it actually comes out. We actually electrolyze that because we have so much that we run through there. We run every bit of our chalcopyrite through the nitric acid setup. That way we uh, can get plenty of the um, platinum group sludge, try to get osmium and iridium. Because until we went to the end, we didn't have any iridium to get osmium from. We actually used that stuff to get our first quantum tank, because you need osmium wires to make it. Now, that is one thing that they did change with this that I didn't mention that kind of torques me off of it. Let's see here. So, nitric acid, the
Oh, fucking hell.
chemical reactor.
Your jetpack thingy is a hell of a bitch.
Okay, so this is the recipe we were just talking about, where you can either run pentlandite or chalcopyrite through the chemical reactor and you get the platinum group sludge and one of the two vitriols. Now, if you go back and look at the nitric acid recipes of the way to make it, which one is it? I think it's this one.
Eco chest plates? What? Okay then. From electrical age.
Yeah. This is the one that made me mad. So if you want to do the hydrogen and nitrogen, you have to wait until you are HV to do it. You have to do the making ammonia the more difficult ways, which is either by throwing the magnetite dust in, which isn't hard to do, or by using the other stuff. I don't really understand the difference of having the magnetite in there for a catalyst, that it takes the power down 100% or 1,000% from 30 to 384. But for some reason they decided that had to be a really expensive recipe.
Hi, Bear.
So did you get anything done while I'm
I got
sitting here
3
rambling?
processor assemblies done. Which I should be able to use with this. I need to make a workstation, that's what I need. Fuck you!
You ain't even got these things out of here and
I'm
done
looking at
anything
'em.
with them yet.
Workstation. Takes 3 processing arrays. I can get the workstation done. SMD diodes.
Okay.
Platinum.
Diodes.
Alright, I just need platinum gallium.
And your diode. However
Platinum
you
and
say it.
gallium. How much gallium? Shit. I don't see. Wait, there's shapes. Oh.
Since I wasn't here last week, Andy finally got us a periodic table made with extra bullshit on top here.
Well, that extra bullshit is the extra MISC items that we have.
Yeah, this is the things that need to be processed down to get the actual elements out of it, or
and then we have
whatever.
2 other chests full of shit that I can't figure out where to put.
Alright, well, since he didn't really have anything for us to do today, other than me go through these chemical changes, that's going to be it for today. When he's done with Ask Me Where I'm
Ow,
At.
something fell. Here, have this thing. Processor assemblies. I made those. That's what I've done so far.
In an hour and 15 minutes, he's
Well, I
made
did
3
make a chemical
circuits.
reactor, and then I found out that the chemical reactor that we made TNT from can be used to do that because it has sulfuric acid in it. So
Yeah.
I didn't need to use this one.
But yeah, we're gonna set that up to make those boards, so we have a specific one just for making boards in, because all the boards need the same
Yeah.
thing. They all need copper foil and sulfuric acid. So we'll set one up that just has that in it specifically.
Yeah, we need a specific spot to put all the
Something like
electric stuff in.
Yeah, we got to work on that. So hopefully Andy this week will work on getting us a
Maybe.
reactor made.
Oh, speaking of
He's
that,
supposed to have been making a reactor for a while. It is the holiday season, so there's a chance that things might be a little bit
Saturday I
lighter.
may or may not be there
Gas
the whole
related.
time.
Well, we're planning on fighting the dragon, so you better be there.
I'll be
for
there
at
for
least
that part. It's just I gotta be gone. I gotta be out of place by 12. A party starts at 12. But I'm off that day too, so.
Okay. So, have a good one, guys. I'm going to take me a nap.
Already?
And hopefully, yeah, I didn't sleep very well last night. Hopefully, I will be back since Yoshi said he got his computer working in a couple hours and do some Mario World 2. If not, I will see you guys tomorrow. There will be a video out from Bears Den GT5 tonight showing up the reactor setup that me and Crazy did. So if you guys want to see that, how we're able to put out 1,000 EU a tick from 3 quad thorium cells, I can show you that.
I mean,
you'll see that.
That one has to be cooled off really good.
Not really. I'm actually wasting EU because I'm not making it. I'm not storing it and making it to heated, superheated. If I made it into superheated and then ran that through an HP, a high pressure turbine, and then took the steam out of that and ran it through a regular, I would probably make a lot more power. This is just a pretty basic setup that I threw together during a stream one day. One of those Greg laughing at me that I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but I came up with a pretty good setup.
You know
apparently,
what you're
doing. It runs 420 to 460 heat units a tick stable from 3 quad rods and 4 reflectors. Reflectors, neutron reflectors.
Is it IC2 or Greg Tech?
So, what, the reflectors? Just look up neutron reflector. It's in it's a Greg Tech recipe because only Greg Tech has the thorium cells.
Graphite, double still, and tin. Or beryllium.
Yeah. And we're actually using the thick neutron reflector. Now that we found the iridium in the end, we're probably going to make the iridium neutron reflectors because they are indestructible.
Undestructible. Somebody spelled that wrong.
Yeah. I don't know why it says undestructible. It's indestructible.
Greg!
At least I can say it
says
properly.
Greg Tech, so it's under Greg's name.
Yeah, it's probably a Greg thing. He probably goofed it up.
You could either make 2 thick neutron reflectors or 2 tungsten carbine plates. Which tungsten...
Yeah, I'm not quite
tungsten
sure
carbon
why.
isn't that hard to make, so... If I remember right.
No, it's really not. Yeah, there's no such thing as unflammable. It's inflammable. Just like there's no undestructible, it's indestructible. English is such a shitty language.
Germans don't know how to English.
I don't
Maybe
know
they
how
do.
to English.
Okay, so we said bye for the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, we're fucking leaving. We're out of this bitch.
Bye.
Kick me off again, Axel. I'm leaving. Asshole. Have a good one, guys.
Bye.